How great will Africa be if it stops exporting its natural resources? Hello explorers, welcome to another informative video presented to you by Displore, and thanks for watching. In this video, we shall be looking at the influence of exportation in Africa and its potential in making Africa great or not, as we ask ourselves how great will Africa be if it stops the exportation of its valuable materials to the West. It is factual that the world's second largest as well as second most populous continent is Africa, just after Asia in both cases. This large continent covers about 30.3 million square kilometers, including adjacent islands, which is over 6% of Earth's total surface area and 20% of its land area. Close to 1.3 billion people inhabit this continent, unevenly distributed amongst 54 sovereign countries. Africa is blessed with natural resources, most of which are exported to the Western world. Unfortunately, Africa is the least wealthiest continent per capita, partly due to the aftermaths of European colonization in Africa, corruption, insurgencies, and from today's topic, exploitation of natural resources via exportation of goods causing mass inflations. Despite the low wealth concentration, the younger population is thriving in diverse economies, and Africa is picking up to be a valuable market for prosperity and greatness. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our videos. For a clear dissection and understanding of this topic, we'll split the content into chunks of facts attributed to various key thought patterns. Distribution of natural resources in Africa. Africa is heavily endowed with natural resources such as diamond, platinum, salt, gold, iron, cobalt, uranium, copper, bauxite, silver, petroleum, and cocoa beans, but also wood and tropical fruit and much more. In fact, we have a video on the top 10 African countries with the most natural resources, which you can watch by clicking on the card. In the last decade, more oil reserve discoveries were made in some countries in Africa, which has attracted foreign investors to seek out this commodity, which plays a vital role in African economies. Sudan and Nigeria are two of the main oil producers in Africa. Most of the oil production in Congo have been consumed largely by the US and Europe. In 2010, a country like Sudan exported large amounts of its oil from reserves at a value estimated by the United States Department of State at $9 billion, and all these exports follow a traditional colonial route to the Western world. Today, the 5 countries which dominate Africa's upstream oil production account for 85% of the continent's oil production, and in order of decreasing output, they are Nigeria, Libya, Algeria, Egypt, and Angola. Other oil-producing countries are Gabon, Congo, Cameroon, Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea, and Democratic Republic of the Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, and more recently, Ghana. South Africa, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Botswana have the most gold and diamond reserves, with the exceptions of diamond for Ghana. Africa also has huge oil resources in abundance. The copper belt in Katanga, the diamond mines in Sierra Leone, Angola, and Botswana are well known for their abundant and rich produce. Although plagued by corruption and links to rebel movements, these countries don't benefit from what they have due to heavy exploitation and exportation by the West. African trade and influence of colonialism on its current economy. The economy of Africa consists of the trade, industry, agriculture, and human resources of the continent, and this implies that trade is considered the first and most prosperous economic earner in Africa. No doubt, Africa is a resource-rich continent. With such a potential, West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, and Southern Africa in particular are expected to reach a combined GDP of $29 trillion by 2050. That is 29 years from now. But in March 2013, Africa was identified as the world's poorest inhabited continent, though the World Bank expects that most African countries will reach middle-income status by 2025 if current growth rates continue. The reality is, many reasons can be attributed for Africa's poor economy, and one of them is looking at Africa historically. Africa had a number of empires trading with many parts of the world, and since Africa had enough natural resources but no industries to process them, most of these resources were exported to the West during the era of European colonization, because at the same time, Europe and the Americas were getting overcrowded with finished products and needed a market to trade them. The fact that Africans were naive, underdeveloped, much then than now, led to massive exploitation of their natural resources, and this framed the basis of the African trade pattern. This pattern has since cloned itself in different ways to the present days, in which the default norm is for massive exportation of goods from Africa to the West, in exchange for industrial skill, income, and sometimes paying of national debts. Import and export trade have driven China and India right into the core growth in Africa's economy in the early 21st century. China, France, USA, and Germany have been responsible for the development of the African trade system, but not without more hideous repercussions. Within the last decade, about 12.5% of Africa's exports are made to China and 4% to India, which accounts for 5% of China's imports and 8% of India's. The Group of Five, Indonesia, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Thailand and the United Arab Emirates are another major player in Africa's export game. Although many African countries like Nigeria, South Africa and many others are huge benefactors of this trade strategy, the consequences have been huge debts, especially to China. Debts so huge it would take some countries like the CAR and Republic of the Congo over 100 years to pay off the debts under normal circumstances with no foreign aid. Impact of stopping exportation on the African economy. It is a simple equation. Africa has the raw materials and natural resources but lack the industries and knowledge for cost-efficient transformation and production of these into finished products. At other instances, the human resources are inadequate or unskilled. The West and the rest of the world, depending on Africa, have the skills and knowledge to obtain final products. However, they are not as blessed as Africa in terms of raw materials and natural resources. Looking at this situation, we realize that it boils down to the need for Africa to metamorphose into what it expects from the Western world. Unfortunately, internal trade in Africa remains low, as reflected by official statistics. This is despite numerous regional trade agreements that have led to tariff removal within the trading blocs. There are a host of shortcomings that limit inter-African trade. One of the reasons is the fact that, for example, Ghana can't trade gold with South Africa, who has it in excess. And if Cameroon were to export and trade oil with Equatorial Guinea, they would at a less significant cost for similar reasons. But despite these facts, enhancing trade integration between African countries could yield large economic gains. This motivated the latest initiative for integration, the Continental Free Trade Area, which was birthed in 2019 to foster intracontinental trade links in Africa. This would be Africa helping Africa to become a better Africa. The pros and cons of stopping exportation of minerals. Inasmuch as the countries in Africa which stand out at the helm of development are the most exporters of goods to Europe, the fact that they are also heavily indebted poses a threat to their economy, because without those debts they would probably be no more than any other regular country. Africa would have to recline from exportation and begin building trade ties and links within the continent through shared interest. Although stopping exportation will currently affect the economies negatively in Africa, it will only be a matter of time before the continent rises on its feet and soar above peer competition. This is because Africa is growing, her sons and daughters are gaining knowledge, and there is a younger population ever surging for the brink of daylight and dew. Therefore, it would take years, decades or scores of years. But in the long run, just imagining what Africa would be, trading her resources only within itself between countries with shared interest, is a satisfying thought. In conclusion, Africa is a very economically potential continent, but plagued by various troubles. Exportation is but one of our many assets to emergence. Though it may seem to boost the African economy a great deal, but the reality is Africa would definitely be great and even greater than it is in this age if exportations of our raw materials were to be stopped, especially as most of these resources are just grossly exploited. There you go, Explorers. Thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button and turn on post notifications. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, subscribe to our channel and share with your friends.